You may be wondering, since you have to respect everyone because they have their own minds and they have this perception, how are we going to get to any objective truths or universal truth as morality demands? And this is the study of objectivism. Okay, we're going to look at the major concept here, but I want to say before I even go look at the definition, okay, what does objective mean? Objective mean not me, outside of me. You are outside of me, you are objective to me. Morality is a study of activity between one person and another person or a group of people. Okay, and the objectivity comes in that those other people are not you. If you are a solipsist and you believe everything is in your mind, there's no objectivism. So you can mistreat all the people in your mind, all the ideas in your mind, all you want. Okay, although in my philosophy I may still call that immorality, even though it's not unethical. Because why are you mistreating people in your mind like that? Why you make a a, a man just to slam against the wall? So I would still judge it, but the idea of objectivity is very, very simple. If you don't think you're the only one in the world, then objectivism is true for you, even though you may want to be a relativist and say there are no universal moral truths. Ask yourself that question. Do you believe there's other people in the world? Then that's objectivity. That's what we're talking about. All right. And now we deep dive with definition to make it work for real. Okay. Ethical objectivism. Some people will say moral objectivism, and some people say universalism. All these concepts are appropriate. All right. My last study, deep study of this, left me with this concept. That's the concept I'm using right now. There's no preference. Okay. And the green is what the word really means. Universal moral truths, things that are true for everyone. Like if honesty is good, it's true for everyone. That's what universal means. All right. They are real. They're objectively real out there. And we can have access to them. We can, by life experiences, get to them, or we can do it through intellectual analysis. That's the basic definition of that concept. Going a little further, to emphasize it a little more, when we in the land of philosophy, we say ethical truth, we're not talking about mere opinion, which means it's true for me. I have no evidence for it. I don't need it because I'm only one going to use it. No, that's not what we're saying. When we say an ethical truth, it's true beyond me. It's true for me, and it's true for you, true for Tom, true for Sarah. All right. And this is how we're approaching that concept. All right. Again, more emphasis. When we say moral knowledge, we're talking about something like scientific knowledge. You get a scientific knowledge, you apply it, and it works. You get the moral knowledge, you apply it, and it works. We are in the quest in this unit, understanding moral knowledge, to have some construct, some principle, some rule that really guides us in ways that produce positive results. That's the essence of ethical objectivism, right? It's hardcore in that way. We look at our behavior, okay? We look at the human spectrum of what we do. We act in certain ways, we have thoughts, intentions, and we have feelings. All of these can be judged. All of these can be judged. And all right. When we say moral going forward in this court, when we say moral, we mean objectively good or fundamentally good. Okay. You were taught that something was moral or immoral. That's how you were taught. But what argument do you have to prove that it's fundamentally good or okay or for fundamentally bad? Why is lying wrong? Huh? Why can't I lie? I like to lie. I want to lie. I want to make a lot of money. I'm gonna lie. Okay. So why is lying immoral? Moral and immoral mean fundamentally bad, objectively bad. You have the evidence to show the person why this is a bad thing to do, why you're hurting people in this particular way. All right. So when we look at the philosopher's theories, we're looking for this deeper concept. Also, not all behaviors are moral and immoral. Majority of the time, we are amoral. When you're following the civil code, state government rules, your act is amoral. When you're following religious injunction, your act is amoral. A soldier obeying orders is amoral. A young child obeying the instructions of a guardian is amoral. Of employee obeying the orders, the direct orders of the supervisor in that act is amoral. Many of our acts, most of our acts, I would say, as my observation of the world, is primarily amoral, fundamentally neutral. Whenever you give up your freedom and follow someone else, your act is amoral. right? So we want to dive just a little deeper, okay? We want to focus on this idea of moral. What do we mean by something is moral? Huh? What does that mean, moral, right? So right now we're getting some general concepts out of the way, okay? Um, when we use the word moral, what are we talking about, really? What exactly are we talking about? There are three concepts that emerges that describe, that capture the meaning of moral. Moral often means rules. It's not more something positive we like to have. And if we like a certain thing, we like to create a rule so we can actually engage in it in the future. Okay. And so we call them principle. A principle is personal rule, my rules. You have principles, I have principles. Johnny doesn't have any principles. Johnny doesn't have any personal inner guideline. There's no inner compass that guides him. Each of the theories we're going to look at going to give us a principle, their moral principle that they hope will pass our critical evaluation. Okay. When you say moral, besides following something that's principle driven, okay, it's also autonomous. Autonomous means freedom. If someone forces you to do something, okay, if they force you to do something, your act is immoral. Autonomy means when we get to the word moral, we want to judge is right and wrong only if you freely chose to do it. If someone lies to you and you do something, whether it's good or bad, you don't get credit for it. You do not get moral credit for it. Somebody threatened the life of your dog so that you go do and rob a store for him. Okay. When you go rob that store, okay, your act of robbery is immoral because you lost autonomy. Okay, he was acting under duress. Very important. Morality and making moral judgment and understanding yourself as moral. Even when you act, sometimes you're forced to do something. You have to see that this part of understanding what it is to be moral. Okay, and what about this idea of goodness? This is, in general, the meaning that which is beneficial to others. Okay, your act is such that it's beneficial or non-injurious to other people. That's the best definition for goodness. But in the long term, it also means to you as well. If you're going to follow certain rules freely because of your autonomy, it shouldn't be hurting you. Because as human beings, if we're following rules that's injurious to us, then we won't want to follow it. Okay? That's different from if you're a criminal going into prison for a crime you committed. You're expected to take suffering and pain for what you've done. That is the correctness of the justice system. That's different. When you know you've done something wrong, you're experiencing pain from doing the right thing, turning yourself in, let's say. All right. But morality itself, the way promoting forward, it populates the goodness in relations. It populates goodness amongst different communities.